0:025, coldopenhookvo.com. Investigative 5 young men, all close friends, vanish on a cold February night in 1978. A car is found abandoned deep in the mountains. A trailer is discovered with enough food to keep them alive for months, untouched. And then, the bodies begin to appear. To this day, no one knows why they were there, or what, or who they were running from. Title card. File number 005, the Yuba County 5025-135. Introduction, VO. Tonight, we reopen the case known as America's Dyatlov Pass. A story filled with confusion, terror, and unanswered questions. 5 young men from Yuba City, California, all part of a social support group for mild intellectual disabilities or psychiatric conditions, went missing after a basketball game. They were known as the Boys. Gentle, predictable, beloved by their families. They had never been in trouble. They were terrified of the cold. And they had a big event the next day, a special Olympics basketball tournament, and yet they drove into the freezing mountains. Why? 135-310. The Boys VO. Let's introduce the 5. Jack Madruga, 30. Army veteran, shy Ceres, deeply attached to his car. Bill Sterling, 29. Kind, compassionate, a man who often helped patients in hospitals. Ted Weiher, 32. Friendly, gentle, nicknamed the Teddy Bear. Jackie Hoot, 24. Young guest easily. Influenced, loved his friends more than anything. Gary Mathias, 25, a U.S. Army veteran living with schizophrenia, but stable on medication. They were good friends. They trusted each other, and they all loved basketball. 3/10/430. The last known sighting, VO. On February 24, 1978, the group attended a UC Davis basketball game. They bought snacks. They were seen laughing. And then they got back in Jack Madruga's 1969 Mercury Montego and drove into the dark. But instead of heading south toward home, they drove northeast, deep into the Plumas National Forest. A cold, isolated, mountainous region none of them knew. No one understood why. 4:36:10, the abandoned car days later. A forest ranger found the Mercury Montego stuck in snow on a remote mountain road to 50 miles off their route. The keys were missing. No footprints, no signs of struggle. The fuel tank was nearly full. The car was in perfect working order. It wasn't stuck. The boys could have easily pushed it free, but they didn't. Instead, they walked deeper into the freezing mountains. 6/10/745. The search, their families were frantic. Helicopters, search teams, dogs, all combing the region. Nothing made sense. Why abandon the car? Why go up the mountain instead of down? Why live in the dead of night? The temperature below freezing. The boys not dressed for cold. The danger deadly. 7:45/920. The trailer Discovery. Months later, as the snow began to melt, searchers made a shocking discovery. A U.S. Forest Service trailer nearly 20 miles from the abandoned car. Inside, they found Ted Watt. He had survived for 8 to 13 weeks. Blankets were pulled over his body. Food was inside the trailer, enough to keep all 5 alive indefinitely. But nobody had touched the abundant supplies. And, next to Ted, lay unopened cans of food he could have easily eaten. Someone tried to help him survive, but failed. 9/20/11/10, the bodies began to appear soon after. 2 more bodies were found, Sterling and Mud. Their remains were lying in opposite directions between the trailer and the car. They seemed to have died from exposure while trying to walk for help. A 4th body, Jackie Hoot, was found later, also in the woods. But the 5th, Gary Mathias, was never found. His shoes were discovered inside the trailer, meaning Ted may have been wearing Gary's. Why? What happened inside that trailer? Why were supplies untouched? 11:10, o'clock. The 5 main theories investigators proposed. Theories. None fit perfectly. Theory 1. They got lost. But they had driven this region before, and they overshot the turn by 70 miles. Theory 2. Gary Mathias led them astray, yet nothing indicates danger, and Gary had been stable for 2 years. Theory 3. Someone chased them. Many believe the boys were running from someone or something terrifying. Theory 4. They followed a mysterious lead. Some speculate they encountered a stranger after the game, someone who convinced them to drive into the mountains. Theory 5. Mechanical or medical emergency, but no evidence supports this. The car was fine, and the boys weren't injured. 13 o'clock to 14:40. The trailer mystery deepens. Here is the most chilling part. Inside that trailer, there were matches, there was fuel, there was food, there were warm clothes, there were heat sources, there was shelter. Everything they needed to survive. But it was all untouched. Ted starved and froze, while supplies sat on shelves. 1442, 1630. Why didn't they eat? Investigators believe the boys simply didn't know how to use the equipment. But Gary did. He was trained in survival while in the army, and he was missing and remains missing to this day. Did he leave to find help? Did he perish unseen? Or did something or someone stop him? 1630 to 18 o'clock. The most likely scenario, the FBI concluded the boys panicked for reasons unknown and fled into the mountains. But the facts raise more questions than answers. Why walk uphill in the snow rather than downhill to safety? Why walk 20 miles to a remote trailer? Why stop using resources once inside? Why only some of them died close together and others far apart? And the biggest question, where is Gary Mathias? 18 o'clock to 1930, the haunting legacy for decades. The families have begged for answers. They believe the boys encountered someone they feared, or something they couldn't understand. This case remains one of California's most haunting unsolved disappearances. 5 friends drove into the mountains. Only 4 were found. And the truth behind their final hours has never been uncovered. 1930 to 20 o'clock. Closing. This is the unsolved mystery of the Yuba County 5. A case filled with terror, confusion, survival, and a trail of unanswered questions that still echo across the mountains today. End card. File close status. Unexplained.